Asha Degree was just 9 years old when she disappeared from her home in North Carolina on the morning of February 14, 2000. The days leading up to her disappearance were pretty normal. Asha, who was in the 4th grade, played basketball at her local middle school just like her brother, who was 1 year older than her. Her team lost for the first time just 2 days before she disappeared, and although she was upset at first, she felt better after she saw her brother play. The next day, Sunday, February the 13th, Asha went to church and stopped by her cousin's house where her grandmother gave her some Valentine's Day candies. That evening, while Asha was in the living room watching some movies with her family and her mother was making a bath for her, a motorcyclist crashed into a nearby utility pole, cutting their power out for the night. Since they didn't have any power, Asha's mom Aquila decided to just send the kids to bed and bathe them in the morning instead. At around 11:30, Asha's dad Harold went out to get Aquila some gifts for Valentine's Day since it would also be their 12th anniversary. Coming back a short time later, Harold fell asleep on the couch, but he was woken up shortly afterwards when the power came back on and Aquila asked him to move the kerosene lamp that they were using for light. She fell back asleep right afterwards, but Harold stayed up a couple of hours more watching movies. At around 2:30 a.m., he took a quick peek into the kids' room and saw them both sound asleep. This was the last time that anyone in the family saw Asha. Though no one saw Asha afterwards, her brother O'Brien did hear her moving in the middle of the night. In his words, he thought she was going to the bathroom, and it's unclear whether he saw or heard her come back after she left. In the morning, Aquila went to the kids' room to get them ready for school, and she was shocked to find Asha's bed empty and unmade. She went downstairs expecting to see her there, but her daughter was nowhere to be found. After that, Aquila quickly became desperate. She called Asha's grandmother, who lived across the street, thinking that maybe Asha was over there, but her grandmother hadn't seen her. Frantic, Aquila threw the phone out of her hands and ran down the street screaming her daughter's name. Harold himself called the cops, and within a few minutes, officers swarmed the neighborhood. What followed is nothing short of a perplexing investigation, one which to this day has not been resolved. Several people reported having seen Asha, including multiple truckers who were on the road the night she left. According to their stories, they saw her walking in the rain along Highway 18, just a mile from her home, at sometime around 4 a.m. One trucker, realizing that it was a child in the rain, turned around to try and help her, but she walked off into the woods and was never seen again. The police made extensive search efforts to find Asha, and along the way they picked up some disturbing clues. Some of her personal effects were found in a doorless shed on a neighbor's property an hour south of her home, and alongside them sat a wallet-sized photo of a young girl whom no one could recognize. Over a year after Asha's disappearance, a contractor made another unsettling discovery. While he was etching a driveway into a hill, he stumbled upon a black bag buried in the ground. Inside it were Asha's book bag and other personal belongings, as well as some items that didn't belong to her. He didn't know what he was seeing at first, but the bag had a telephone number inside, and when he told his wife about it, she recognized the bag as Asha's from the news. They called the cops, and soon enough, another search was underway. This search was much different than the first. The first search was about a mile away from Asha's home, but the hill where the bag was found was 26 miles away from where she lived. On top of that, the woods themselves were practically inaccessible. It was a dense forest between a road and a creek, and it was apparently so hard to navigate through that the sheriff only allowed trained professionals to go in there. The search coordinator didn't think they would find anything given the harsh conditions, and even said that finding the backpack was a fluke. It begs the question of just who went and buried the bag in those woods in the first place. Whoever they are, they really didn't want it to be found. After the second search, police would continue looking for Asha over the years, but so far no one knows what prompted her to leave the house that night or what happened to her afterwards. Given the fact that her items were scattered and buried, it seems like kidnapping is a likely option, and some people speculate that the photo of the unidentified girl was used to lure Asha away. Recently, police announced some new information, including the type of car Asha is believed to have gotten into after she left, and that men's khakis were found near her backpack during the search. Asha's family still holds out hope that she's alive, and every year they do a special 1-mile walk to the highway where she was last seen. We can only hope their case is soon resolved.